Welcome to the Wrestling Still Cool podcast. My name's Cam. That's Mark.
Appreciate y'all joining in.
All right. Before we get into it, you can follow us on Twitter at WrestlingSCool and take it over for the rest.
You can find us also on Instagram at Wrestling Still Cool. Facebook is Wrestling Still Cool, and TikTok at Wrestling Still Cool 90. And also get us on email at WrestlingStillCool@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. And this will be a review of St. Valentine's Day Massacre that took place on the 29th from Memphis, Tennessee. But before we get into that, a wrestler by the name of Butch Reed had passed away recently.
He was tag team partner with Ron Simmons and the tag team called Doom. Well, y'all old school fans remember that tag team. Butch Reed passed away recently, age 66. Had some very ill. Also had in recent months 2 heart attacks. But it's cool to see WWE do a small tribute for Butch Reed the other day. And but they were a popular tag team in the NWA and WCW, and so condolences at the family and all his fans. So wanted to get a little shout out and a little bit of a moment there. But that's a great tag team, and saw them on a lot of footage, and it was really cool. So both talented wrestlers and very good legends. And anyway, Butch Reed was great. So wanted to throw that out there.
And what I just read, because I had to look it up because I'm not familiar with the name, and I'm familiar with the name Doom, and I have a feeling that we watched a pay-per-view for a retro review that had to do with him being in the ring. But I did see that the complications were tied to COVID-19 because he had tested positive about a month prior. With that said, please wear a mask and be careful. Thank you.
Wash your hands. I seen something the other day. I'm not going to go into details. When you use the bathroom, when you use the bathroom, wash your hands. That's all I got to say about that.
I used to work with someone that would argue why they don't do that, and any case.
Do what? Not wash their hands?
They wouldn't wash their hands after using the bathroom. Their quotes were, "I know where my hands have been."
What the hell?
Okay. Yeah. But unironically, this is the same person that's arguing that COVID-19 is a hoax. So, hoax.
Wait, if you think it's a hoax or not, at least wash your hands. I don't know where they've been. If I'm checking, that's why I just, I'm sorry. Anyways, so we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So, let me, again, just don't be a dick when it comes to COVID-19.
And don't be a dick when you're supposed to wash your hands after you do 1 or 2. Nasty.
Okay, so with the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, the first match that we saw here, and this is the network version, I'm actually checking the card, and it looks like they had a couple house matches or dark matches that took place as well. But this is just going to be what's available on the network. And I'm fully aware that this isn't the only or even the first St. Valentine's Day Massacre that they ran. I know it used to be a house show, but this was the only one that was taped. We had Goldust versus Blue Dust. Now, Blue Dust was the Blue Meaning. He's known for his contributions to ECW and the Blue World Order, which was just a let's be honest, it was just a mock group. Basically making fun of the NWO. The match, so it's an entertaining match. It wasn't a really strong worked match. It was just it was meant to get people to laugh and loosen up, which is is appreciated. There was Blue Meaning goes for a moonsault, misses, and then Goldust wraps him up and grabs her for the Kern call, which I don't know if it was just movements and setting up, but you could tell the Kern call was a little bit of a struggle to do.
Yeah.
And Goldust gets the win, and after the match, he hits the Blue Meaning with a Kern call, There was suggestion that he was going to do it during the match, but Blue Meanie got out. And this has really got the crowd loud for it. Would you end up rating this one?
I'd give it a 5. I could even give it a 5.5 even, but I thought it was a decent kickoff, a little something humorous, a little something there. Goldust is always a good worker. Dustin Rhodes. The best thing about it, entertaining, but it didn't go. What's the old saying? It didn't go 5 minutes over than it was supposed to. It was to the point. They did their thing and they got out of the ring. So that made it even better. So they didn't draw it out and make a big deal. Just got the point. Said what they needed to do and put their entertainment on for a few minutes and then left. So that's right. It got a little bit extra point for me, but it was all right.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I actually did a 5 as well, and I highlighted the fact that it was just meant to be entertainment. It wasn't a terribly worked match. It was just someone to get stuff loose.
Blue Meanie, as far as I can remember, he wasn't what I would remember or recall of a great in-ring worker anyway. But
but still, I mean,
yeah.
Part of the things that we grade on is work rate, and it was just
yeah, absolutely.
That's not this type of match.
No, it's not.
The next one ended up being Hardcore Holly, which actually this time is Bob Holly versus Al Snow for the Hardcore Championship. This was pretty much just a car crash match at best. They even worked a little bit on the outside, getting in the water and whatnot.
I bet they're going to go to the water. I think I remember watching that on TV when it was out at the time, and I was like, they're going to go for the Mississippi River. They went for after the water. That was entertaining enough. If it was me, I would have been like, no way.
Which actually reminds me, we didn't highlight this. It was Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler on commentary. Mainly Jerry talking about Memphis and stuff because this comes into play during this match. Throughout the whole night, they kind of talking about the fact that Jerry was going to run for some form of government, and honestly, it didn't really work out. But the reason that this come into play this match is Jerry kept mentioning that this was Bob Holly trying to get rid of the stink, if you will, of being Sparky Plug.
Bob Sparkplug Holly.
Right. Because of this title win, he became Hardcore Holly. So, which honestly, Hardcore Holly won. Then he had this long walk from the outside back to the ring for the title and then walk back, which seemed redundant. But, it is what it is. What did you rate that one?
I get a 6.3. It was a good brawl. I mean, it was a good hardcore fight, and crazy to be in the water in that cold weather and everything. Well, I would be like, hell no. I'm not going to go through all that cold water and cold weather and all that stuff. But it was an entertaining match, and it was cool. Yeah. It was,
I actually rated it a 5 again. And I guess the reason they got kind of a denotion is I don't know if it would be really against the wrestlers, but I got tired of King talking about Sparky Plug. Like, I get it. You guys have to acknowledge that he was that character and not treat us like an idiot. But, oh, man, I was so done with hearing about Sparky Plug about halfway through the match.
No, I hear you. Not to get into politics, but can you imagine Jerry Lawler being into political office? I'm not into politics, as obviously but to our listeners, I'm not in politics, but I just have a hard time imagining Jerry King Lawler political office in government, governor. That'd be hard. You said that.
Well, it's weird because that kind of put this under the whole Kane thing. I don't know them personal life wise. I don't know enough about their story and what they want to do. Character wise, it seems kind of odd to imagine Jerry the King Lawler as part of a form of government. But at the same time, if you saw the Big Red Machine Kane, would you think that dude would be a mayor?
Well, not obviously when he's in character. I know Jerry Lawler's in character. It's just one of those things trying to trying to think about it. I mean, I've seen Glenn Jacobs, aka Kane. I see him talk on TV, Knoxville news stations, and you wouldn't even tell, if you didn't know wrestling, you wouldn't even thought about that. Had been a wrestler, of course, but it is like, I guess, it's just one of those hard things to imagine. That's all. But Kane's he's very intelligent, well-educated guy. Him talking as himself, Glenn Jacobs, and he also is a side note. He's also a intelligent guy in insurance. He sells insurance. At least he used to, I guess. I don't know anymore, but in Knox County. But anyways, I just thought you said governor. That is an interesting thought. That's all.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, it's one of those where it would be hard for me to tell. I don't know enough about King outside.
Yeah.
So.
Next we got Boss Man Midian.
This match was clunky.
You ain't kidding.
It was. So sometimes you could kind of tell that when people kind of don't really work well together, and this was really a good sign of that.
It just didn't mesh.
Say again?
It just didn't mesh.
It didn't. They didn't mesh. It was one of those things where it's like you kind of wanted better. And I'm not saying Bossman is a great worker, and I don't know enough about Midian. I barely know the character, barely know the guy portraying the character. I do know he became Naked Midian years later.
I remember. I mean, I remember him definitely as Midian doing his thing, and he was good in the ring. I remember him best as the Hillbilly tag team, the Godwins. I thought it was a good tag team. I saw his in-ring work. But I thought it did just two guys that just didn't mesh. I mean, I've seen Bossman in better matches. I've seen Midian in better matches. Midian was more known as in tag team action.
Mm-hmm.
Better off in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Just didn't, once again, it just didn't go very well together in this match. And hey, people have that type of problem times in wrestling. So I gave it a 3.3.
I gave it a 4. Not much better, but I get you. It was just even the Bossman Slam didn't even look that good. And this was all part of the whole story of basically the corporation versus what was Undertaker's group called?
The Ministry of Darkness.
Ministry of Darkness. Thank you. I couldn't remember. It was all part of that story with like the Brood and all that. So. And Bossman was like, I guess, like a hired hitman during that time. And then Undertaker cured Midian from being Phineas to what he is now. It was all this whole thing. And I don't think, from what I can gather, looking at like what the after effects, I don't think that there was anything that happened from this after it either. Either way. The next match ended up being Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart with Deborah against D'Lo Brown, Mark Henry with Ivory. I don't want to sound like a hater, but how the hell did Jeff Jarrett become a star?
Well, I give you 2 reasons. One, I mean, he's got some good in-ring skills. I've never been a big Jarrett fan. I think he's got good in-ring skills. As far as he also is, he came from that family. His daddy was big in the business, so that was a big help. But also Jarrett has something to offer. But I don't think look at Jarrett, especially a few years later from this point. He became a big star in WCW, but he wasn't the big draw, and he thought he was. But
no,